So welcome, Anas. You're our first guest today on Spotlight, which we're doing a Twin Cities Startup Week edition. We're going to take 15 minutes or so, and I really want to know who you are and what you're up to.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Anas Mohamed. I am currently a senior at the Minneapolis College of Arts and Design. I was introduced to the Twin Cities Startup Week by a professor of mine a year or two ago. It was a startup class, so we just had to go out and learn about startups around town. And I just wanted to come back for the experience again, to get to know people and what they're working on and the kind of things they're building.
So is this your second year then attending?
Yes, second attempt. Cool. And I'm currently also technical co-founder of a startup.
Okay.
And it came about last year when I was having a chat with a friend of mine, and she was sort of coming back from a research project she did for the school, which involved using LiDAR technology to measure the permafrost thaw that was happening in the Arctic, and which is a really cool project.
Right.
And I'm sort of a software engineer / designer, so I call myself a creative developer. And I thought it was a really cool project, so we started talking about some of the other things we can apply the LiDAR technology to. Now, her and I go to an art school, and the art school has a massive gallery space that students utilize over the years to display their artwork. And it's a really great experience for the students because they get to be in the experience of being an artist, which is like displaying your work and putting it on a wall. But the process of getting a space to put your artwork up is a bit cumbersome. Students would go to an office at the school, and they would say, hey, I want to have an exhibition for X amount of weeks, and I need it to be in this corner of the school. And the school would kind of work with them, and sort of at the end of the process, they would get a little blueprints of the school's floor where their artwork will be and a little receipt on paper. So everything is done on pen and paper.
Okay.
And after the semester ends or their academic year ends, the school basically gets rid of all that paperwork, just recycles it. So there's some data lost on how students are utilizing space. And the user experience of getting a space is also, like I said, a bit cumbersome. We got to figure a few things out. And if you're a brand new student, it's even harder because you're not familiar with the school. You're not familiar with where the location is.
Good luck.
Yeah, 100%. And so we thought, what if we used LiDAR to basically create a digital twin of the school? Sort of the same way Matterport does for the real estate industry, which scans the whole building and makes it available for viewing on the web. What if we did that, but we added on the ability for users to explore the space as an artist, find the spot in the gallery where they want to put up their artwork up, and basically check it out on the spot. All done online, and all the data are basically preserved. And there's no double booking. There's no, we forgot to, make a note for you. None of that. Just very easy, very simple, and very visual.
So this has already been implemented. The school is using this now, or you're still at the kind of presentation stage?
We presented it in front of the school last semester, and we're so grateful because the school decided to put some seed funding into this venture.
Awesome.
So we got about $10,000 to implement it and get that process rolling. And we're currently working on starting the conversation with the school of how exactly this is going to be implemented and deployed to the school, and how it's going to be used over the years. So it's still work in progress, but there's a lot of milestones that have been reached so far. And right now we have I think a minimum viable product. It's a bit clunky, but also a working product.
Everything is in the early stages, right?
Yeah,
It's got to iterate.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So it's interesting because with the advent of Web3, they're kind of creating spaces digitally. And that sounds like you could be right on the cutting edge of a technology that can help, kind of integrate buildings and objects and things into Web3.
Yeah.
Which is coming down the pipeline pretty fast, I believe. So
100%. Yeah. This could be a game changer too for gallery exhibition managers or curators, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if there are a team of curators across the country or the world, and they want to collaborate. Well, what if they could have a 3D replica of the gallery space and 3D representations of some of the artwork that might be on the gallery? So then they can all work together to basically create a draft of where each piece of artwork will be in the gallery, kind of plan that out, collaboratively without having to be in the same room together.
Right.
And that could be a game changer. And for large institutions like the Minneapolis Institute of Art, where they're working with incredibly large spaces, incredibly big projects.
Right.
Something like this that is incredibly accurate because we're using LiDAR, it could be a game changer as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, MCAD is basically on the same campus as the museum, right? It's all kind of connected, and yeah, that's amazing, man. That's really exciting stuff you've got going on. Man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you're back for your second year at Startup Week. Why?
It's the atmosphere coming, So we've been working on the startup for a few months, and I've heard a lot of things about, that the hardships of things not working, of projects slowing down, of not meeting deadlines and all that, and having a change of scenery a little bit and putting yourself in a space where there are some like-minded people who could be in the same boat. It definitely changes the perspective. So I'm back to learn about all the different startups that people are cooking up and get to hear their stories and also connect with some folks that maybe could help us out in our journey as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time and us to join me here today, being our first guest of the day. So it's exciting. We're excited to hear more about your project in the future.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, it's Will with the Podcast Crew team. Spotlight is a vidcast shot at the Podcast Crew studios in Minneapolis. We would love for you to be our guest. Email us at the email address on your screen below to get a copy of the upcoming schedule. It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to try out a podcast or a vidcast with our pro team. We do an in-person, in-studio version if you're in the Twin Cities area, and also an online version if you're somewhere else. We'd love to have you, hear your story, and help you start your podcast journey. Thanks. Get in touch today.